Find that way to collaborate with them and to be able to execute what they initially envision and then what you can bring to the table and get it on the screen.
Right away then, at the end of that meeting, the director gets right in the location van and out they go to look at locations.
In parallel to that, you start casting for guest stars.
Then the next step is we'll sit down with the writers and have what's called a tone meeting. It's a very good exercise to go through the different beats and what's intended.
But you only have 3 or 4 more days to go before you have to start shooting, and that's when a kind of a panic sets in.
More meetings, wardrobe meetings, prop meetings, production design meetings, visual effects meetings.
We start seeing what's going to work together in the schedule and what's not.
You have to think very quickly on your feet and change because you've lost a location or something like that has happened.
If the director is lucky, he'll find time to go to the location with the director of photography.
So you start talking about the sequences, you know, what style we want to give to this scene or that scene. And then the most complex scenes are storyboarded.
And they'll start drawing pictures of the sketch. So you have a drawing for every key moment in the scene so that the crew knows what's being shot. By the time you're done prepping one of these episodes, your notebook is about twice as thick as it was. It is a major show to prep. And then you have to execute. At the end of the first day, all our guest directors have the same reaction. They go, oh my God, is every day gonna be like that? And the crew will go, actually, that's not too bad. It wasn't such a tough day.
Still rolling from the top.
So from the prep, it's on to the shoot, which for Emmy Award-winning director Greg Yaitanes meant heading underground.
Cutting.
When we had read the script, we understood the intent, which was a claustrophobic environment that's contained. So we found this location, which is this power station out of Eagle Rock, California.
That sewer scene where Peter and Claire are escaping from Knox and Flint, and they dive into the sewers. And I mean, what an amazingly realistic place for us as the actors to kind of go in and play.
Yeah, when he comes in, just sort of step up to it. Okay. And action.
The challenge of the sewer was to make it not look like we lit it. The lighting had to be invisible, so it would seem realistically a sewer.
Charlie did a great job making it feel like the daylight was coming through the cracks of the place, so you didn't feel that there was any real light source, but in fact it was all just coming from little holes in the concrete above.
The water we brought in, and we had smoke to help create the humidity of the atmosphere as well.
We just made the place very moist and did a lot of dripping water as though there was a reality above them.
It was like working in a submarine because it was a long channel that only had access at the ends. So just to get everything in and out and then to turn it all around and work in the other direction is always a challenge.
And on top of that, incredibly echoey. So even the littlest conversation was magnified throughout that room.
A lot of lights, a lot of people, there wasn't much room to move. You know, you're kind of confined. You're thinking, okay, I guess I've got to, can't go that way, can't go that way. Okay, so I'll just say it right here.
I shot Peter's story entirely handheld so that it would have this slightly more voyeuristic and observational quality. I knew ahead of time that we'd never be able to get dollies and big pieces of equipment down there, so I tried to work backwards from what I wanted that scene to look like.
Speed! A speed, A mark. And action! Yeah, cool. Cut. Everybody look good for you? Yeah, very nice. Look good for you? Good here. Awesome, check it.
Okay, plates up next,
plates
guys.
up, plates up. No characters, interactive light, no actors, interactive light only.
You often, as an episodic director, go to a show that's possibly established and you hear the phrase, well, we don't do that here, or we don't do that on that show, which really sort of represents a closed-mindedness of thinking, which this show, you never hear that. You're always thinking like, what can we do to make this cooler? How can this be better?
Style. They really want as much style as possible. Well, that's wonderful. So in terms of the parameters of the show, artistically, it's wide open.
A director comes into Heroes and he becomes another character on the show.
Now we're here with the camera. Zoom right away quicker to that.
They lay on the floor and they're like, camera starts down here and comes up to the thing. We start on the table, close in on the pencil as he's tapping. I mean, they get so excited and it shows.
It's a show that supports a lot of dynamic camera movement. It's a show that supports a lot of new visual ideas, a lot of technique, because you're trying to represent and get people into the subjective experience of what it's like to read somebody's mind or travel through time or run really fast.
Gotta go.
This is a show that is basically shot like a graphic novel. You know, there are these hero shots that they get.